As bleak and as stark as it might sound, the United States of America is facing a war on the American family, its perpetrator, its own federal government. Since becoming a political and philosophical force in the 19th century, socialism has always been at war with the family. Man's gut, natural inclinations to provide for himself and his own family, then his neighbors and community. Socialism and statism must remove these existing loyalties and replace them with governmental power. It's for this reason that the statists and socialists in our midst have been a force behind the sexual revolution, the abortion culture, and social engineering of all kinds, because these things erode the bones of the American family. As families crumble, the state steps in to take their place. Communism's very creator Karl Marx and his co-author Frederick Engels identified the family as enemy number one of the state. In the Communist Manifesto, Marx rails against the middle-class family. Do you charge us with wanting to stop the exploitation of children by their parents? To this crime we plead guilty. End quote. According to thousands of years of experience rearing children, not to mention the Judeo-Christian ethic, the very anchor of our nation, marriage is the foundation of the family. In his 1884 work, Origin of the Family, Private Property, and the State, Engels, in modern language, argues basically for free love as a byproduct to advance communism. The single family ceases to be the chosen economic unit for society, he writes. It must be transformed into a social industry. The care and education of children must become a public and statist affair. Does it remind you of a certain Common Core policy lurking in our midst? He continues, freed from any economic implications, women and men will make up their own rules and be liberated at last. Look at American history as these Marxist-minded professors infiltrated our universities. The free love movement in the 1960s regurgitated this sentiment word for word. Liberals have worked for years to persuade Americans to surrender family functions to the federal government. There have been many fronts to this war, but part of the strategy was a shift in tax code. Between 1984 and 1968, the U.S. had a very family-friendly income tax code. A married couple with 3 or more children paid almost no income taxes at all. Personally, I don't like social manipulation with the tax code, but think about how they socially manipulate us now with the exact same tax code. Under these massive federal welfare programs, marriage-based families nearly ceased to exist in almost all of our minority communities. Girls were offered cash, food stamps, housing aid, child care, and other incentives to have children outside of wedlock and to dismiss the man in their lives. This effectively pushed husbands, fathers, and even boyfriends out of the household, as there was simply no fiscal need for them. Think about this startling statistic. In the 50s, more than 80% of all minority children were born to married parents. By 1980, more than 50% of children in minority communities born to single mothers. Today, that same statistic is pushing 80%. These are all the fruits of a statist, fatherless paradise. Ladies and gentlemen, my fellow citizens, here's the elephant in the room. When we talk about increased abortion rates, increased crime rates, an educational failure that is abundantly clear, gang violence, school shootings, we're talking about the breakdown of the American family, plain and simple. And until we address this as a constituency, as a body politic, as an American people, we are changing the window dressing in a burning house. My name is Brock Lawley. Thank you for listening.
CourageCulture.net